Should you move to Arizona from another state? Well, I don't know. That's only a question you can answer. But today, that is what I'm going to talk about. My name is Rich. Welcome back to another episode of Arizona Life. So, should you move here from another state? Well, it depends on what it is you're looking for, where it is you're coming from, and if it's something you want to undertake. Now, us, it was definitely something we wanted to do, and there's a lot of reasons why we did it, a lot of reasons why my clients are doing it. All right, that's better. It's a little toasty out today, but well, should you move to Arizona from another state? Again, that's something only you can answer, but I know for us and my clients, the answer is 1,000% yes. Now, there's a lot of reasons why people are moving here, and for each one, it's gonna be different. But once you're here, it becomes, yes, it's a new place, you're getting adjusted to new things, but there's a lot of factors that go in, should you move to a new state? And I'm not gonna lie, it's a huge undertaking to move one, but to move, depending on how far you're going to, but to a new state, I mean, it's a whole nother world, especially if you throw, kids and a dog in the mix like we did, and, starting over an expanding business. So I still have my business in Illinois and have business here in Arizona. But, again, why we moved here, and it's a lot, my clients and I, we have a lot of the same, I think we connect the same. It's kind of weird how that works out, but, we moved here for a lot of reasons, but, obviously the weather is nice. I would never move somewhere really just for the weather alone, because there's a lot of great places with, or at least a lot of places with a lot of great weather, but they're places that I would not want to live. But yeah, the weather is a really nice factor of, when you're here in, November, December, January, February, and it's still, in the 70s or 80s even, when back in central Illinois, where everyone is freezing, miserable, it's gray and ugly out. I mean, I love that first fresh snow, but after that, I'm done with it. And we're seeing a lot of people. So I had some clients move here from Minnesota, and they loved where they lived in Minnesota, but it just became a spot where, or a point where they're tired of dealing with it. They're older, they did not want to mess around with, the ice and the snow and tracking that through the house, and it just got to be a point where, they start looking for other options. They came down here for vacationing all the time, like, well, let's look at, what it looks like to make Arizona home. So yeah, the weather is a nice thing to consider when you're looking like, all right, should I move here? But another thing we looked at is just for our kids, like where we came from, like, all right, where do we want our kids' future to be? What's that future look like? And the future of our kids, having them grow up in the Phoenix area. Now we're in Gilbert, but having them grow up here just seems a lot, excuse me if I can talk, there's a lot more opportunity for them, coming here to Arizona. Granted, they're 3 and 7, and they're not in grad programs, but as you move down the road, it's going to be harder for them to, it would have been harder for them to move if we had already if we decided that when they're in high school. So, and I also didn't want to have my kids be the reason why we did or did not do something. And yeah, they were sad at first, but they got over it, and they're so happy they're here. They love their schools. I know Arizona schools get a bad rap because of the lack of funding and what teachers are paid at some places, but where we're at in Gilbert, the schools are fantastic. They love their teachers. It's a pretty good student teacher ratio. But yeah, the future in the economy from Illinois to Arizona is a huge plus, or huge pro, huge reason why we decided, to make that 1,600, I wish it was only 600, 1,600 mile journey. And again, that's a lot of my clients who are moving here. That's one of the reasons why they're coming here is, looking at the economy. The property taxes alone save us thousands. I was paying almost $9 grand a year in property taxes in central Illinois in a home that was, barely worth a little over $300. We're here, if your taxes are $8,000 or $9,000, your home has 2 commas. So I would much rather have my monthly payment go toward the principle of the house rather than, you know, the taxes and the government. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. And it's not like we got a ton for what we were paying. Like the town we lived in didn't even have a stoplight. And speaking of taxes, you know, the roads in Illinois are complete trash. As I drive here from Gilbert into Mesa, the roads are great. I mean, there's no issues. You know, you see them do construction, but I guess that's a good thing. Stay up on the road, stay up on, there's no, you know, you're not worried about hitting that huge pothole and bending a rim, getting a flat tire. And another thing you'll notice as you're driving here, I don't see trash along the side of the street. I don't see, you know, litter. I don't see things like, you know, eyesores in people's yards. It's just, it feels nice all around. You know, I don't know if I would have, you know, clean clean roads and, you know, nice roads as the sole reason, you know, of why you should move here from another state, but it's definitely a perk. You know, as I sit in traffic, that is one thing that I don't want to say taking some getting used to, but I did not think the traffic was going to be as heavy as it is. But yeah, there's, you know, millions of people in the Phoenix metro area, and we're coming from, you know, not that. But yeah, there's a lot of traffic around here. So depending on where it is you got to go, but the valley is so spread out. So what may seem like, you know, 20-30 miles, depending on when you're going, that could be an hour to, you know, 70-minute drive, again, depending on the time of day. So it does, and I've learned that the hard way of, you know, plan your trip accordingly. But it is nice about most of these maps on cell phones are, you know, pretty much live time, but that can change pretty quick, especially if there's an accident, which there seems to be a lot of because people don't pay attention to where it is that they're going. Water is something I'm always taking with us. Especially the kids, just always having water, having a water bottle, thermos, whatever. You don't realize how quick you can become dehydrated here, especially because it feels like, you know, you're not sweating because it evaporates so quick. But, you know, again, that's something that you may not be used to when you're coming from somewhere else. Yeah, I know you're gonna realize it's hot, but stay on top of your water. Trust me, because there's no worse feeling than being dehydrated, and it really will take it out of you. Now again, back to should you move here from another state, your state, the place you've called home, the place that you've, you know, lived your life, you've loved. Well, you know, if you're retired, you know, it's a great place for retirement. There's a lot of 55+ communities. There's tons of activities. But, you know, if you're coming here and you're looking for jobs, the good thing is a lot of companies, businesses, corporations are relocating here, especially in the Chandler area. If you're into the tech world, I think Facebook just announced they're opening a new spot in Mesa. But there's a lot of businesses coming here. You know, it's a tax-friendly state, and, you know, if you, depending on what it is you do for work, but if you're looking to expand in Arizona and find a, you know, a career, it should not be that hard. Now, there are a lot of people moving here, so I don't think I would just move here and not have a plan in place of what I'm going to do for work. But just know there are so many places hiring right now. It should not be a major issue, but, you know, I would just be cautious and make sure you have something lined up beforehand. And depending on what it is you do, you know, working remotely now, you know, thanks to COVID, it's almost become like the norm where, you know, working remotely, working from, you know, from home or a satellite office has become just customary. I know with my business, there's times I've never even met clients where they've bought and sold. Now, that is not my preferred method, especially, you know, in the relationship business, but I've had clients who were selling their home. They lived in Texas and they did not plan on returning. So we did everything over Zoom, phone calls, and technology, and we're still able to get it done. So again, I think COVID had a lot to do with that, with teaching people, you know, how to use, you know, the tech platforms, how to make that, you know, just an easy process. And everyone, you know, we always talk about the weather, the heat here, and how it's a dry heat. And yeah, I mean, it is a dry heat, but this year we've had so many monsoons. At least they call monsoons. To me, it just feels like normal rain, but the humidity was higher than, you know, than normal, and that created a lot of mosquitoes, a lot of bug issues, which I thought I left that behind in Central Illinois. But yeah, just something, you know, to know that you may experience. And you know, one thing that's really weird, so when I was, again, back in central Illinois, I've had, and my clients from Minnesota said the same thing, you know, the heat of like a 90-95 degree day there, you know, is miserable. Here it is not. And it really has not taken that long to get used to, you know, those 100+ days. Currently, as I shoot this, it is 105 out. You know, I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt, and that's pretty much my normal daily attire. Jeans, t-shirt, you know, cowboy boots, tennis shoes, whatever. And it's not that bad. So it's not like I'm going outside, you know, staring at the sun for 10 minutes, but you know, if I wear this central Illinois again, where that humidity is kicked up, you know, I'm soaked, I'm sweating, it's miserable, it's just not enjoyable. But here, you know, my body has adjusted pretty well. So hopefully that's the same for you if you know, decide to make that move here. But it's not as crazy as what you think. I know a lot of people, you know, will talk I know when we were talking about moving to Arizona, you know, the first thing people were saying is, oh, the heat, you're gonna be miserable. But you know, it really has not been the case. But again, we're not idiots. And depending on where it is you're coming from, now my clients who moved from Southern California, you know, they moved here and they were getting a bargain on a house in their eyes. But then I had clients moving from Ohio, and the home prices are much more expensive here. So home prices have gone up, well, across the country, but they've really exploded here in, you know, the Phoenix area. You know, some places, you know, 30-40% over the last 18 months, which is pretty crazy. But my clients from California, you know, they're used to, you know, getting a postage stamp for $1 million. So what they can buy here, you know, a lot of people are coming here from SoCal and paying cash just because they've sold their home there, have a ton of equity in it, and here they're able to get it for, you know, in their eyes, almost a bargain, which is good and bad. So it's, you know, that is bad if you're moving from somewhere you don't have that kind of growth, you know, from the Midwest, for example, and you know, you didn't cash out $800,000 equity just because the market doesn't grow like that and not as volatile as it is in places like, you know, Southern California and now in the Phoenix metro area. Now, depending on what it is you're looking for in your home, I love, you know, some of the unique styles. You know, the Southwest style is something my wife and I absolutely love, and it's just it's not what I thought it was going to be before we actually got here. But some of these Southwest homes are so cool, and you know, so I don't want to say like modern in a sense that they're, you know, don't conform. You know, they do, but they're so cool. And you know, I'm used to having a basement, and here basements are not they're not common at all. I mean, the ground's so hard, but you know, we really wanted the basement back in central Illinois because of, you know, tornadoes, that kind of thing, but you really don't have that here. And really the basement becomes just another spot for storage. So that is one thing I've noticed. You don't quite have the same amount of storage, depending on, I guess, if you're used to those central Illinois Midwest type houses. But I mean, a lot of people, when they have that third bay, that becomes their storage in the garage or racks, or, you know, a lot of times you don't need the same things that you had where it is you're coming from, especially if you're coming from a cold weather state. You know, we got rid of our riding mower, our snow blower, our shovels. We got rid of so much stuff that was taking up a ton of space that, you know, thank God, because there would have been no room for it here, but we don't need it. I mean, we don't have grass in our yard. We have, you know, rocks, but you know, if that's if you want grass, I mean, there are plenty of homes with grass, but it's just it's not as easy to care for. It's because, you know, it's Arizona and it gets super hot, and the grass, it's a different feel of grass. It's not that same thick, lush grass that you may be used to. Or if it is, you're using a hell of a lot of water to keep it that way. This is why I think that you should move to Arizona. If you're looking for a place that, you know, has a good economy, a good workforce, homes are appreciating. You know, the area we live in, we chose because it is, you know, a safe community. You know, I was a cop for 13 years, and I mentioned that in other videos, but that was one of our number one things, is can I raise my family here? Would I want other people to raise their family here? And would I feel comfortable recommending that? And also, I think people should move here just because of, there's so much to do outside. There's so much to do that you don't have to pay for. Or if you do have to pay for it, it's relatively inexpensive. We love going into the Lost Dutchman State Park. This past weekend, we went into Lake Pleasant. That's a super cool area. Even if you don't have a boat, you can drive your car, depending on your vehicle, down by the water, set up camp there, and just hang out all day at the water. And there's plenty of places just to go sightsee, go hike the mountains. But the beauty of this area is one of the reasons that we love waking up here. And it changes, depending on where it is you live. So we live in Gilbert. It's pretty populated, but I feel that when you head into the West Valley towards Peoria and that area, it becomes more open, more, it's a popular area, but it feels like it's more sparse. There's more of that Southwest feel with, more saguaros and, that desert life. And I love the mountain range over there. But, if that's something you're looking for, or if you've never experienced it, definitely make a trip to come out here. Let me know, and I'll show you my favorite spots and the reasons why we love to call Arizona home. And back to with so many things to do. Yeah, there's plenty of outdoor hiking activities, that kind of thing, but also have a lot of, if you're into pro sports, the Diamondbacks, the Suns, the Coyotes, the Arizona Cardinals, ASU. So even if you're I'm not a fan really of any of those teams, but I am a hockey fan, especially in college football. So it's still nice to go catch a game. And the Diamondbacks Chase Field is awesome. Downtown Phoenix is really cool over there. But we love going there. We love taking the kids there. There's tons of stuff to do. And it's just a really cool place. Sometimes you forget how big and how many people are there. It is accessible, even if you do have to wait in traffic a little bit and drive a little ways. But that's why we love living in Gilbert, because we can make it to go see all those things and not have to necessarily live in that congestion or downtown lifestyle. But we just like if we're in Chicago going to a Blackhawks game, that traffic gets insane. So it's nothing new there, but at least this way it's I don't want to say it's in your backyard, but it's pretty accessible. Now, I have done some other videos on things I do not like about it here. It's still not enough to make me want to move from here, but definitely some things to consider. So check that video out. There may be some things that you think are not going to be an issue that will, but there's a reason why 200 to 250 people per day, statistically, are choosing to call the Phoenix metro area home. Again, it all comes down to personal preference, what it is you're looking for, what fits your life, your family's life. But for us, I know this is a place that the only regret is not doing it sooner, especially before this housing boom. But yeah, we love it here. I think you'll love it here too. If you have any questions, want to see video on other topics, let me know. My contact information is below. I look forward to meeting with you when you do make that Arizona trip. This is Rich, eXp Realty, Arizona Life.